Alrighty, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. We're talking about the weather because, yes, we again have a first alert weather day today. We've been stuck in this super rainy pattern. There have been these thunderstorm clusters that'll develop out to our west, like back out in Texas, and they're basically on a conveyor belt just moving into the southeast, including here in North Georgia, and that pattern continues today. The main time frame for storms will be between about 4 and 9 p.m. And honestly, as of latest model data, I kind of want to shift that a little more to like 3 to 8 p.m. Models are moving this cluster of storms in just a little faster, but heavy rain and storms is what to expect. We've already had some isolated showers throughout the morning, some pockets of heavier rain as well. Expect that to continue through the day today. Otherwise, if you're not dealing with one of those isolated kind of heavier downpours, it's going to feel misty, it's going to feel drizzly, kind of damp and cool. We have a wedge of cool air building in, and as I take you through First Alert Futurecast, you're going to notice where that's really holding on strong. It's mainly from Atlanta to the north and east. That's where that wedge is taking control. That's going to keep you a little cooler today, and that's going to keep you stuck in kind of just that really damp and drizzly feel today. That's one of the, as I would like to say, side effects of a wedge. So going through the afternoon, notice north of the city today, LJ, Blairsville, Gainesville, Athens, Canton, you're going to stay in the 60s all day long today. You will not get out of the 60s. Atlanta, I think you'll briefly touch 70 degrees. If you are south and west of Atlanta, that wedge is not kind of in control of your forecast. So notice temperatures closer to 80 degrees from Noonan, LaGrange, Thomaston. I even think that Griffin and Eatonton will head into the mid 70s today. So you will have essentially the heat, the fuel, the instability for maybe a stronger storm. Otherwise, as this line of storms moves through, it'll march over the Alabama-Georgia line around 2 p.m., moving into West Metro around 3. Still could experience some gusty wind across the state today, but when it comes to any kind of severe storm, that's going to be along and south of I-20 where that fuel is simply the greatest. So going through 4 or 5 o'clock, we'll have rain move across downtown, so it is going to be a really rainy commute tonight. You've got to give yourself some extra time. Pack your patience on the roadways tonight. I know that's the most cliche saying ever, but first day back to work, I know a lot of you will probably be just ready to get home after the long holiday weekend. First day back's always the hardest. Just know that it is going to be a washout for that evening commute. Heavy rain, some gusty wind, maybe a few rumbles of thunder as well. And at this point, also maybe an isolated severe storm south of the city. By 10 o'clock, we're drying out briefly. Another batch of showers rolls in overnight. And at this point, it's just going to be rain. All the rain and storms from the evening will kind of wipe out any of our instability or fuel for storms. So just heavy rain overnight. And that should mostly clear by the morning commute tomorrow outside of a few showers. Here's a look at those high temperatures today. Again, low 60s north of the city. Atlanta will touch 70, but closer to 80 south of the city. Here's a look at that severe outlook. So this is accounting for where our stability is the greatest. So Atlanta to the north, up into the mountains won't experience any thunderstorm activity today. But south of I-20, all the way into Carrollton, so West Georgia, the chance for severe storms is definitely present. You'll have enough fuel. The instability will be very high, so that will lead to damaging wind. Now, while not a severe parameter, I do think flooding is going to be a concern for us today. We've picked up almost 6 inches of rain this month. Some spots over the last 24 hours have picked up 2 to 4 inches of rain. So the ground is saturated. So any extra heavy rain, which will fall tonight, that will lead to maybe some flash flooding. That could also lead to some ponding in the roadways. So again, just can't warn you enough that you need to be careful on the roadways tonight. Damaging wind will be our greatest severe threat, although still on the lower end. And then that tornado threat is not none. I do think in our far southern counties and in far west Georgia, so we're talking like Troup, Meriwether, Butts County, Jasper, Putnam County, I think we're going to need to watch you for maybe an isolated tornado this afternoon. That threat is extremely low, but again, it's not none, so something that we'll be watching for you. We'll get a brief break from the showers and storms tomorrow. While we could have a few in the morning, the afternoon looks mostly dry outside a few spotty thunderstorms. And any storms that develop tomorrow, because we'll see sunshine, could have some gusty wind and frequent lightning in them. And then we remain unsettled Thursday and Friday as a cold front moves through, but we finally dry out on Saturday. Until then, though, we're looking to pick up another inch to 2.5 inches of rain, maybe some locally heavy amounts. So flash flooding will also be a concern Thursday and Friday as more rain moves through, especially on Thursday, which is our first alert weather day. We may extend that first alert weather day into Friday. We're going to keep an eye on the timing of the rain, and if it looks like it's going to impact you in a big way, we'll issue that for you. Weekend looks spectacular. We're waking up in the 50s Saturday morning, lower humidity, tons of sunshine and low 80s. A few quick passing showers are possible Sunday, but mostly dry. And we're staying mostly dry, and we're heading back into a hotter stretch of weather for the start of June, which kicks off next week. All right, everyone, have that first alert weather app handy today, especially with that chance for some of you to experience severe weather today. It's a great tool to have. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave you with the 7-day forecast as I bring in Brooks Baptiste to get you caught up on all of today's stories.
Thank you, Courtney. Appreciate it as always, my friend. Let's get you caught up on some of these stories that are making headlines this morning. I actually want to begin with one of the stories that is seemingly making some headlines this morning because it's impacting a lot of people who had just got back into town. Let me fix this camera shot just a little bit to make sure my head isn't cut off here. But again, Brooks Baptiste here checking in from the First Alert desk. One of the stories that we've been watching is where our Atlanta News First Blake Devine has been on top of this regarding a water outage that is now going into more than 24 hours there in Northwest Atlanta. If you're familiar with the area, along West Paces Ferry Road, there's not too far from where Houston's is. The Whole Foods is out there. So many other businesses are out there, but this seems to be particularly impacting a lot of the homes right now. Atlanta News First Blake Devine reports from nearby Northside Parkway as crews continue to try and find the source of this leak.
Nearby neighbors and businesses within this Northwest Atlanta neighborhood are waking up for a second straight day without water. That's why these crews are out and about here working around the clock, digging deep into the ground to fix that broken valve. Atlanta Watershed Management tells us they've been searching for the source of the issue at several locations like this within a 2-mile radius, trying to troubleshoot whether it's a leak or a blockage of some sort. The goal, to fix the problem and restore water services as soon as possible. One man we talked to told us he was shocked to return home from a Memorial Day family vacation to find no running water in his house.
We just got some water. We've got water to drink and stuff, but it's still, you just don't realize how much you miss with just washing your hands, right? That you can't even do that at home. So we could use the water bottle, but it's just, it's just kind of a pain.
Back out here with another look at crews hard at work along Northside Parkway. We just got word from Atlanta Watershed that they are distributing free water bottles to those in need. That just started at the tennis courts at the nearby Westminster School. Reporting in Northwest Atlanta, Blake Devine, Atlanta News First.
And happening today, we are expecting to hear from the Dalton teenager who was released this past Friday from ICE custody. We know she had been mistakenly arrested and placed in immigration detention in an immigration detention center earlier this month. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond is there ahead of this news conference that is set to happen later today, where that 19-year-old has now returned home, but she still has a lot to say about what has happened so far.
We were there when Jimena Arias Cristobal pulled into her driveway Friday morning after a judge granted her bond from a South Georgia ICE detention center. Now, obviously, that was a very tearful reunion for the college student after being separated from her friends and family for almost 3 weeks. But for Arias Cristobal, now she faces a future that could still mean deportation. This all started when a Dalton police officer pulled over the wrong car during a traffic stop and arrested her. Those charges were later dropped, and that officer has since resigned. But because she is undocumented, she was taken into ICE custody. Now, Arias Cristobal says now that she's home, she plans to fight to get a visa to stay in the country she's lived in since she was 4 years old.
It's the conditions and the unknown. It's not knowing what's going to happen to me, knowing that I could be sent back to a country that I don't know, having to be torn apart from my family.
Now her attorney says she will make remarks and answer questions later this afternoon around 5:45, where we will likely learn what is next for Arias Cristobal. In Sandy Springs, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
Sarah, thank you. This morning, some good news to report that there aren't any injuries in this apartment fire, but the unfortunate news is the damage that this fire has now left behind. Several people are dealing with the aftermath following a fire that ripped through their apartment complex. This is at the Parkwood Village Apartments in Dunwoody. We can tell you that at least 6 of the units are damaged, and we spoke with people who said that they were just enjoying their Memorial Day at the pool when that fire broke out.
It was very scary, actually. It was very frightening. I've never experienced anything like this. I was taken completely aback. You just freeze, you go into fight or flight. It's like a very scary thing to happen. I feel for those that were truly affected by it because it was like scary enough for me. So I can only imagine what they're going through.
Right now, the cause of the fire is still under investigation. As we learn more, we'll be sure to update you both on air and on the Free Atlanta News First app. All right, did you hear the news that Pinky Cole, the restaurateur and entrepreneur that we know so well here in the Atlanta area, she's asking for help after she says someone stole her Bentley. This happened on the opening weekend of Pinky Cole's new restaurant called Fogey's. The restaurant is on Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard in the same spot where her Slutty Vegan restaurant chain started. She posted to Instagram Sunday saying that there were 3 guys on scooters that jumped inside her car, which was parked just outside of the restaurant. And she says that those 3 people took off. So if you have any information that could help her out, I'm sure she would gladly appreciate that. But imagine that, a Bentley being taken away just that fast. All right. Well, of course, we've told you that it is a first alert weather day, so you want to stay tuned with the forecast throughout the day because it is going to impact you for sure, even if you're just trying to get home from work or if you have places to be this afternoon, after the 4 o'clock timing and whatnot. So, of course, we'll have more of an update for you on Atlanta News First at noon. Ella Dorsey is going to be here on the First Alert desk at 11 o'clock to give you more about that as well. But in the meantime, enjoy the day. Make it a great one. And we wish you the best Tuesday. I know it's a tough one as so many people are getting back to work on a day like today after the long holiday weekend. But yep, back to the grind just like that. Again, my name is Brooks Baptiste, and thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the First Alert desk. We'll see you back here on Atlanta News First.